Roll call, please.
Oh, I do not have that list with me. Sorry, I was kind of rushed over here today. I could pull it up.
Yeah, but I don't have a phone either.
Bill's doing what?
Let her know she's gotta get,
Right.
I have like a voting box now.
There, but you vote here, you vote here.
Alrighty, so Jim Palmer,
Here.
I bet.
Corey Brown,
Here.
Mark Bibbelheimer,
Here.
Frank Detieri is absent, Andy Gale is absent, Sarna Salzman,
Here.
TJ Andrews,
Here.
Mary Pitcher is absent, Bill Perkins,
Here.
Chris Wood, he is absent, Matthew Cook,
Here.
Christy Trigg is absent, Ty Wessel,
Here.
We have a quorum. This is our first round of public comment. Is there any members of the public who would like to make comment?
Hello, my name is Jennifer Berkey, and I'm an Acme Township resident here in Grand Traverse County. But I'm going to switch hats, and I'm here representing Michigan State University Extension. Chris Forsyth asked me more about what the university resources might be to help support the materials management planning process. So I'm here just to listen and learn, and then I will obviously reflect back and get some information to the committee, however it may see fit, to see if there's any Michigan State University resources that could help and support your planning. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
My name is Bob Laporte, and I live in Leelanau County, and put together a program called The Crowd, which is an acronym for composting, recycling, and organic waste diversion. And thank goodness Seeds has helped us along with our facilitators, and it's just doing great work. We're doing great work. And now everybody probably knows that you just passed an important week start off called the Food Waste Prevention Week, and that will end on Saturday. So we have been putting together programs and events, and one of them is going to be a panel for our crowd at the Government Center, Leelanau Government Center in the basement on the 21st. It's free. The panel is going to have 3 experts here in our region. Seeds is one. Actually, there's 5 loaves and 2 fish, and then also food rescue. So there's 3 experts who are going to be given this panel. It starts at 1 o'clock on the 21st, and go till 3. That's normally the time when our crowd meeting would take place, but I do have some handouts here, so I think when I'm done passing this, I'll pass this along. So, food is going to see some real changes in processing of food. We're going to see some real changes with our materials management plan, because right now, Michigan landfills about 2 billion pounds a year of food waste. And that's not sustainable, because we have some of the largest methane emissions, because when you put food scraps in a landfill, it rots and creates tremendous greenhouse gas And we have probably in the top 6, maybe top 10 states with that amount of methane's emission. It's very toxic. Materials management planning is actually, according to Eagle, meant to be a public health initiative. Because 20 or 30 years ago, whenever they had their plans, it's now been being revised. And I really appreciate everybody and what you're doing. I hope everybody is actually feeling what I'm feeling, that, you know, this could be a real solidarity in our lives and what happens in our country going forward, because solidarity is really important. You know, there are actually science experts that talk about solidarity, and one of the, you know, important thing is that it's like almost an intimacy where we all have a common cause. And since I am a retired oncologist, I have deep faith that we're going to get through this. It's like somebody who's maybe in the ICU and is not looking too good. You don't call hospice right away. You take care of the patient and apply the treatment that works. So this food waste thing, it's not high tech. We can take care of this. But Michigan Target now is saying that 2 billion pounds a year, we better cut that in half by 2030. So we got 5 years to build an infrastructure for this. It's a tsunami of waste from our forest sometimes, but we can also use all of that food waste to make a great soil amendment called composting. If anybody, I'll pass this around, that's the EPA wasted food scale. It might look very familiar to some people. I will definitely hand this out at the end. And tell me how long I have, because I know up north in Leelanau we only get 3 minutes, is that right? So I'm expecting the bell to go off at any time, but is there a time limit?
Yes, through the chair, there's a 3-minute guideline for public comment. So at this point, I think you've gone a little bit over that.
Okay. Because the last month, I think I was going for 15 or 20, and nobody was stopping me. I was thinking, oh, this is great. But anyway, if anybody's interested, I will pass this out. It might be an interesting panel for what the Leelanau crowd is putting together. And we've got a lot of work to do with our food system. And good food is good health, and good food is also good environment. So thank you very much for what you're doing. Keep up the great work. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Oh.
My name's Mike Sutherland, and I've been a builder out in Glen Arbor for most of my career. I bought Lake Ann Hardwoods, and I'm still not sure why. But a couple years ago, my mom died, and my brother Bobby at Cherry Republic, you know, we just thought, God, there's such an opportunity there for, again, not sure why. But their business model, that mill's been there for 75 years in Benzie County. And they were running a couple million board feet of rough sawn lumber and putting out 3,000 or 4,000 cord of firewood and all the offshoots, sawdust and mulch. And they were timbering, going out into the woods. These little mills are drying up. And since we bought it and tried to sort of do what they did, we realized that it's an unbelievably stupid business to try to compete with the bigger mills. There's two monsters in Michigan. So the loggers know where their money is. They just go with, especially the good logs, But what I've noticed, I've been saying a lot lately, the industry is like the Wild West, the way the loggers work and the way that they're able to figure out how to sell stuff and get stuff processed. Stuff's going to make electricity by burning it downstate. But this area specifically, it feels like we have some big holes in the industry and what we are actually doing with biomass and trees that are coming down in quantity, but also like grandma's black walnut tree in the backyard that's, first growth, that's, that's making slabs that are worth a fortune, but no one to cut them. I had no plans to talk here. I just learned about this meeting. I'm still not even sure what it is. I had to leave. I know that there's public comment at the end, but I don't think I had time to sort of learn what's going on. But I wanted to just maybe let you all know that that property is available. We could power Benzie County with it for whatever reason. They brought a lot of electricity onto that property. It's got all the zoning for trucks coming and going. And it may be a resource for, I guess I'm just putting the word out here that if anybody has any ideas on what might make sense for a property like that it's pretty centrally located and it's pretty easy to get to, and it's 12 acres, but we could get more if we needed it. So biochar might be a solution for all of this waste that, we're really not doing much productive with it. From road commissions doing clearings to the red pines that were post-World War II that were planted. Like, there's so many red pine trees within 20 miles of us now that are not getting harvested because they're basically worthless. So just putting it out to the universe. How's my 3 minutes? Okay. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
My name is Annie Browning. I grew up in Lake Ann and moved to Beulah. I was on the village council there and the planning commission. I'm just giving you some background before I get into it. And so I ended up on the county materials management advisory committee. And so I learned about this meeting recently, and I thought that sounds like a really great idea, collaborating, local or neighboring communities. So I'm just here to kind of learn about what's going on and share my perspective. So thank you for doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, moving on to approval of the minutes. The commissioner or committee members got a printed copy of revised minutes, different than what's in the packet, that look more accurate. Does anyone see anything that needs to be changed or motion for approval?
That was good. I'd make the motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes. Any second? Support? Any discussion? TJ's still reading. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. On to approval of the agenda. Would anyone like to make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and support. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Do we have anything on the consent calendar? I don't think so. Nor special orders of business. So first item of business, the RFP for MMP Consulting Services. Would staff like to give us an update on this?
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. Maxwell Cameron, Community Development Coordinator with Grand Traverse County. Pleased to let you know that the RFP for MMP Consulting Services was released last Friday. couple of important dates that I want to make everybody aware of. Most immediately, next Monday at 2 o'clock, we'll be hosting the pre-bid conference for this RFP here at the Governmental Center. We've also included some information in the agenda item about attending the meeting virtually. So bidders can choose to participate either by joining us here for the conference. It'll be on the second floor in the training room back here at 2 o'clock, or via the link for Teams. So definitely want to get the word out about our pre-bid and the RFP in general, to make sure that everybody is aware that this is happening. A couple of other key dates, consultants have until the end of the month, April 30th, to submit questions and clarifications regarding the RFP, and then our due date for submittals is May the 12th. So that's when we're expecting to receive responses. With that, if there's any-
There's a link that I sent out to you guys for the RFP in that email I sent out earlier this week. It said important MMPC meeting, and it's near the bottom. You'll find the link to the RFP. It's also available on the Grand Traverse County Recycle Smart Materials Management planning page.
Any questions, discussion, comment? Okay. Moving on to the work program update.
Alrighty, so on March 14th, you guys approved the work program, and I'm the DPA for our group, so I submitted it to Eagle on behalf of Benzie, Leelanau, and Grand Traverse counties. On March 18th, Eagle responded via email that the budget portion identifies a category for implementation for each county, and that the implementation items were not described. They needed additional clarification of this budget item, but noted that if counties were intending to use these amounts for future implementation, to remove this information from the budget and only identify funds needed for this year. So myself, with guidance from county staff, moved all of the implementation funds into the contractual services category on the work program budget, so the group could still request the full grant dollar amount for the year. And we still had the contingency category on there as well for 10%. And then there was another small change I guess the first one wasn't a very small change, but it allowed us to, again, request the full amount, which is what we wanted to do. But Eagle also requested that we update Leelanau County's grant total amount to $81,150.50. It was listed as $81,151 on the original submittal. So I made that change, and it was resubmitted to Eagle on March 19th. And on April 2nd, Eagle confirmed receival of the updated work program and stated that it looked good on the planning team's end, and that they were seeking approval from their manager. I did receive an email from them today. They didn't say it was approved, but they were just asking for Sigma numbers and the grant contract manager information. So I believe we should be expecting a contract in the mail. So I don't have anything further to report on that at this time.
Great, thank you. Any questions or comments from committee members? Okay, moving on to facilitated discussion.
So, just through the chair, at the last meeting, it was determined that we wanted to spend a portion of the next 3 MMPC meetings doing some strategic discussion facilitated by an outside planning consultant, and staff move forward with hiring Placecraft, and we're very fortunate to have Elise Loud here, principal at Placecraft. leading these discussions for the next 3 meetings, and invite Elise up and introduce yourself, and we can get started on our strategic planning.
Sounds great. Thanks, Maxwell. My name is Elise. It's nice to see everyone today. I am not a materials management expert. I'm still kind of guessing at what biochar means, but I'm putting it together. But what I do for work very often is community planning, listening, and team facilitation projects. So my understanding of the scope of work that we're going to complete over the next 3 months is I'm sort of helping you, to use a really cringeworthy phrase, because we have a lot of plans in our lives, but I think our work together is sort of to like plan to plan. So by the end of these 3 months, you'll be engaging a contractor to help you through the materials management planning process, and we will be aligned as a team on, you know, what's most important to you in that process, who you want to be speaking with during that process. Are there areas that you are very aligned as a planning team? Are there areas where you are not aligned? Are there areas where you have more questions to understand if you agree on what to do next? And I think all of that information will be very helpful to the next consultant who comes in to actually move the plan. We will have done hopefully a lot of the legwork to say, this is what this team really cares about. These are the audiences in our 3 counties that we know we need to connect with during the MMP process. And here are, you know, our draft goals or hopes for this process and where we really want to pay special attention to. And here are some areas that might come up during the process where we need more time as a team to figure out how we handle those. So any questions on that? And also, does that align with what you're hoping I do for you and with you? Okay. So I think for today, there's really two kind of topics that that we as I had conversations with your staff team and with Sarna, your chair, to talk about like how do we want to set this up, where do we start, what's step 1, and so we put together a plan for the next 3 meetings that I want to review with you and adjust as you'd like. This is very draft. This is our interpretation of what the next 3 months could look like. I'm sure that pieces of this make sense to you. I'm sure that pieces of this do not make sense to you. We might want to clarify some things. There might be activities here that you don't think are necessary or activities that are missing. So I am not so proud of this document that it can't change. I expect that it changes today, and I'd like to walk away with a plan for the next 3 months that we're all kind of aligned on and excited about, and we know what we're going to be talking about today, May, and June. Does that make sense? Cool. This is all just best intent. This is, you know, well-intended brains coming together to say, what could the next 3 meetings look like? And then your job today is to tell us, actually, they should look like this, or yes, we want to do this at that time. So for today, our hope was that we would anchor as a team. We can talk about materials management. That's not a bad word. But we really wanted to spend time talking about how we would work together as a team over the next 3 months, but also as you really get into the materials management planning process. Maybe flesh out, I have here flesh out strengths of the team, like what skills do you bring to a group planning process. We're sort of all back in like high school or college where we're being asked to come together as a group and make a plan together. And I think some of us are very good at data. Some of us are very good at talking with people and figuring out who needs to be in the room. Some of us are very oriented towards process. If we do this, we need to do this, do this. And then there's a lot of needs we each have as a team member. Like I will be able to feel very confident about making a decision if I have this data or if, you know, I have materials ahead of time, et cetera. So just wanted to flesh out like what you need as a team and what, you know, what you're excited about, what you're not excited about during the process. And then, if you're open to this, we thought it might be helpful to put together sort of a draft process agreement, community agreement, which is just a series of statements that we commit to over our time together. So they can be very basic, like I commit to making meetings, and they can be more in depth, like I commit to, you know, believing that someone has the best of intent, even if I don't agree with what they're saying. We can customize that list if that feels like a helpful template for this group. So that's kind of the purpose we've outlined for today's conversation. And I want to add another piece for April based on discussions with staff. we still want to make sure that everyone around the table, I'm going to call this whole room the table, has a shared understanding of what the MMP materials management planning process is and does. And Lydia is prepared at our next meeting to offer a brief presentation. I know you've looked at that before as a group, but just to give everyone a chance to reconfirm your understanding. And I think there might be some members who are new. And so making sure that new members also understand like what we're talking about when we talk about MMP or materials management planning. So what I'd like to add to today's agenda is, what is your understanding? Do you have any questions? We can target the presentation to address those questions so we're not repeating information that you already feel very confident on. So I'm going to stop and say today's goals that we've kind of outlined are identify our shared agreements for how we're going to co-create a plan, flush out what you bring to the table, what you need from us to do this well, and then confirm your understanding of the MMP. Do you have any questions that we should spend more time on at our next meeting? So then I'll just quickly kind of overview May and June, and then you tell me what we've got right and what we don't have here. So in May, we're looking to get into our own experiences, personal and professional, with materials management, source those core values and needs from the group. So what do you value in this world? Like, what do you care about? But also, what do you need? I know that all of you have to live, right? Like, we all need money and resources to make it, and many of you are coming from, have an organizational perspective that requires certain things within the materials management world around dollars, resources, time, staff, whatever. I'd like to outline both like your hopes and dreams, but also like practically what do you need to be successful in this world, and how do those align or not. And then source best practices from the team. So are there things occurring locally? I think we've heard some examples tonight. Are there examples around the region that you'd like to raise up and make sure the team is thinking about as you're making a plan for the region? Or outside of the region, are there things going on in outside of Michigan that you'd like to source? And then hold space for trade-offs. So this is perhaps controversial, but also I think practical. An actionable regional plan for anything is not going to advance just one topic, right? There's gonna be many viewpoints informing this plan, and there will inevitably be trade-offs. So to do this well, we might need to take a step back on this, and to do this well, we might have to compromise here. I think it would be helpful as a team to start having those conversations so that when you are in the nitty-gritty with your consultant actually doing the planning work, there's been some prep about what are some of those issues that might require a balancing act versus full steam ahead on one thing. So then in June, if we're all still tracking with that, in June, we would really get into the materials management plan itself, and we would have a conversation about what goals in that process do we feel really confident that we in Leelanau, Benzie, and Grand Traverse can meet or exceed, and are there goals that we think will be really challenging for our region to meet? Start to figure out those pieces. And then community engagement. Who do we need to hear from during the process to make sure that it will be approved by all the authorities required to approve it, and that we will have public buy-in as we go along? So I'll take a step back. Not literally, because I need the mic, I guess, but I'll take a step back from speaking and ask for comments, questions. Does this feel like yes? Does this feel like I don't like it? What do we need to change to really get your buy-in on and get excited for the next 3 months together?
I'll go.
Thanks, DJ.
Just some reaction. I appreciate the effort, and I appreciate that you've worked to get us started here today. I think this is a great starting plan. I think we're all sort of struggling a little bit for how to kick this off from some of these first administrative tasks that we've now successfully, with great guidance and support from our staff, gotten to. So I think getting some conversation going in a open format is really valuable, and I appreciate that this is a way to get there. I don't have any particular changes that I think I foresee, but I think we just got to start somewhere, and this feels like as good a starting place as anywhere. So